Hello, and welcome back to The Truth of the Matter Is with Mary and Pam. We are so glad that you came back to join us again. We're excited about this new podcast that we have, and we invite you to please take the time to like and subscribe and send us some of your ideas. We will, at the end of this program, have a Gmail for you to be able to send in any questions or anything that you have. And so we're just excited to be here today. We have so much to talk about with what's going on in the world today.
Yeah, and we are at a very critical time in our lives in these United States of America, and so we better be talking about it.
Yes, we had, and we know that we've said from the beginning that our democracy is at hand, is at stake here, and that we need to make sure that everyone fully understands what's at stake. And so today we're going to start talking a little bit about, well, not a little bit, a lot about Project 2025. It's a mandate that the Conservative Party, the Republican Party, is using as their outline for their agenda for what they're looking to do if they get the president of choice in office. And so we're going to try to take, we know that is a 900-page document. A lot of people don't have a chance to read or time to read 900 pages, but a few lawyers out in California condensed that down, and we're able to break it down into different sections. So we're just going to kind of break it up into sections because we know that everything on this sheet has some kind of an impact towards everybody in the United States, one way or another.
And before we start, we said that whatever the truth of the matter is, and that we will fact check everything that we do here. And so I would like to make a correction that I made on one of the shows when I said that the election day, the general election day, was November the 6th. It's November the 5th. It was November the 6th last time. Okay?
Right.
So it's November the 5th. So we will be doing and fact check on those things that we say, and because whatever we say, we want it to be the fact of the truth of the matter. Okay?
That's right.
And so we want to make sure that we if we misstate something, or that we will make sure that we correct it. And if you see something some mistake that we should make, and you want to contact us, please let us know, because we want to make sure that our information is factual information. And we try to check it all out prior to, but in these conversations that we are having, they are so hefty and so deep that sometimes we don't have a chance to make sure that we fact checked all that we're saying, but we try to make sure that we're not saying anything that we can't back up with the truth.
Exactly. I think I made that a mistake when I said something. I said 2029 or something like that, but that was just an error in speech.
And so we just human.
We are just human. So Project 2025 is what we are dealing with. And we thought we would talk to you about it in different segments, because we want to make sure that you have a full understanding as to how this project affects you in your everyday life. And so we're going to start out with healthcare.
Okay.
We'll start out with healthcare.
Okay, we'll start out with healthcare, and this is so important. And we're going to start off with healthcare, and I'm not going to go through all of it today, because this is going to be an ongoing, something that we are talking about. But one of the things that I really want you to really marinate with you is the critical things in this 2025 project that will affect us for the rest of our lives, and will affect people, especially those people with what they call the black jobs, and the mothers and the low-income individual. And not that it does not affect everybody, because actually it affects everybody. What they're proposing affects everybody. And I'm not going to go through all the health care today, because we'll get back to some of that later on. But one of the critical things that I wanted us to have you know, and this is verbatim that we're talking about right here. This is what the mandate for the leadership for the conservative promise. Okay? And so that one is the HALT initiative that subsidize single parenthood. Do you know what that means? That means if you have a child, 3 kids or whatever, and you are getting subsidies from the government, that it will be halted. That you will
stopped immediately.
That's what it says, halted, and it's been promised that it would happen on day one.
Day one.
Okay.
Exactly.
So if you know how many people that we've gotten that we have that fall into that category.
Yes.
And so you know how many children and families will be devastated by such action.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that we need to look at. And then the next one is to prohibit Medicare from negotiating drug prices.
And they just got it down to where it was like $35. Imagine the hundreds of dollars that people were paying ahead of time or before. They'll have to go back to that and maybe even higher.
They can, because if they deregulate where they don't have to,
it can skyrocket.
Yeah, it can skyrocket to wherever it wants to go, and everybody's prohibited from saying anything.
Exactly.
You know? And so that is devastating for poor people. And we're going to have, and we already know that black death supersedes that of the whites, and because of lack of health care, and we will see more of that. With this initiative, okay?
Exactly.
And then the next one is to cut funding for Medicaid. Medicaid is for those folks at the very lowest end of the scale. Not Medicare, but Medicaid.
And that's not just black folks. That's affecting a lot of people.
Cut funding for Medicaid. Can you imagine? Okay. And then the next one that I wanted to call to your attention is they call for eliminating federal oversight of state Medicaid programs, meaning that the state, even if they wanted to, can do nothing about those Medicaid programs because they are prohibited from having oversight of them.
Right. And a lot of times people on Medicare have Medicaid. One kind of helps to balance out the other.
Right.
So all of those medical bills and things that have been being eliminated or at least taken down to where it was manageable will go up. Or you won't have any kind of help at all.
Any kind of insurances at all. And that's just devastating. And we know that it is just so very important, like for health care, funerals, etc. We gotta have that insurance to subsidize, because we've never made enough money to pile some up someplace and save for a rainy day. Very few of our folks in our society are able to do that because medical expenses are
well, your kids need to go to the dentist. They need braces. They have cavities. You need to be able to take them to have that done. Nothing's worse than a parent sitting there watching a child having a hard time trying to eat because they have cavities and they can't afford to take them because dental prices are way off. And it's already hard enough even with Medicare and Medicaid to take care of those dental things. But aside from that, health care, asthma, people have allergies, and they need to be able to take their kids to have these shots and all that. They won't be able to do that without having a big bill sitting there waiting for them.
That's exactly right. And then they'll be turned down.
Exactly.
Because they don't have the funding to do that.
Exactly.
And then the next thing is to make it harder. Listen at this. To make it harder to enroll in, apply for, or renew Medicaid membership.
Exactly. So in other words, they're going to put a lot more stipulations on it so that a lot more people will not be eligible. And so that's going to, and then for those that are on there, they can add things on there that's going to make it even harder because the qualifications to be able to have this program is going to rise.
Absolutely. And this is just, this is just devastating. And that a group of people could sit down and absolutely, this is a group of rich people.
People that can afford to pay for their own insurance.
Who can afford to pay for all of this that we're talking about. That are able to sit down and say, the United States, we're going to deny our citizens of the right to all of these things and cut Medicaid and Medicare.
Just cut it out all the way.
Cut it out. Period. And then eliminate the Affordable Care Act.
They have been adamant about getting that ended ever since Obama.
Oh, and they
got
took
that
it. You know,
through.
Obama said at the thing. He said, they don't call it Obamacare anymore. They call it the Affordable
Care Act.
Because so many people enrolled in it and really thought it was it's a good thing.
And they didn't want his name attached to it then.
They do not want his name attached to it, and so he called that out.
And when he was president, all they called it was Obamacare.
Yeah, because they was trying to stop it.
They was trying to stop it, and they didn't realize. See, what a lot of people don't realize, they think that it's just the Black community that utilizes this. And so when they look at it, they're saying, we're helping those Black folks, and we're not doing. They don't understand that we are the minority when it comes to using these funds.
They don't understand that all rising tides raise the boat.
Exactly.
Raise all boats.
I love her parables.
That's it. So, that they just don't, they don't seem to get
that
it.
It's going to affect not just the African American community.
And there are more poor white people than Black people.
There is.
Because there's more of them.
Right.
There's a lot
we're
more.
only 12%.
Yeah, we're only 12%. And so there are people that need housing, there are people that need food and clothing for their children, etc. And this is going to affect. That's why we're trying to get out here and share it with everybody, to have them know that it does not affect just one segment of the community, that it affects all of us,
Republicans and Democrats and independents alike.
Every one of us will be affected by what happened, and then they again going to raise the prescription drug prices.
And we already know that people with diabetes, people that need, medication on a regular, prices are already, you go get a 30-day supply of medicine. It could cost you hundreds of dollars.
Oh yeah, and some of them are $400. Some of the diabetic stuff was like $400.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so this will be. You'll be responsible out of pocket.
With kidney disease and all of those,
out of pocket.
They just die, because they can't.
They cannot afford it.
Cannot afford it,
Well, taxes are being cut, so the people that have money have more money.
Mm-hmm. And then this just really rubs me the wrong way, because these people like to work on their Christianity and talk to people about Christianity. And, if they really believed in God and studied the Bible the way they profess, they would certainly not be trying to reinstitute the National Institute of Health according to Christian principle, according to Christian health, according to Christian principle.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
That's kind of messed up, And so they really are talking about abortion. That's what they're talking about down here as far as Christian. But the Christian experience goes far beyond. How can we profess in this society that we are Christians, we believe in God and God and Jesus, and yet we are so mean and hateful to our fellow man?
Jesus never went out and forced anybody to believe in him.
No.
What he did was set the example and then expected you to see that example and change your life according to what you saw, letting your light shine. He never went out, and he could have. He could have said, you're going to do this, and it would have been done. But he didn't do that, because the example was that we ought to let our light shine. We ought to live a life to be an example that other people can see that flame and adjust to that. We are not to go out and force our religion upon anyone, because then it's not real. If I make you do something,
that's right.
You're not doing it because that's what's in your heart. You're doing it because you were forced. Freely. That is the key to it all.
That's your
freely. And what that does is tries to force individuals to live according to what their idea of the Christian principle is, because if it was right, they wouldn't be doing this.
And this is just a portion. I've just covered a portion of the things that this healthcare initiative promotes. And
that's
I know
just a segment in 2025. Healthcare.
That's healthcare. That's healthcare.
It's just one segment.
That's not even a whole segment.
Not even a whole segment.
That's on half of the segments that's involved here. And I know that the many things that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be doing this. We said in part 2, but we may be doing it far beyond part 2.
Oh yeah, because when we get off into, which is what I'm really interested in, is government.
Yes, that's where we need to go now.
We need to go to government. When we get, this is another segment, government. I was going to bullet point a few things. I'm going to go a little bit down the list, but it's so much. It's everything that is so important
to be covered.
And exactly. So we'll start with this. Require civil service appointees. Now listen closely. Require civil service appointees to swear loyalty to the president.
And that means that I'm a VA nurse. Okay, I'm a retired federal employee, and I work for the director's office, which means that if I was not declaring, my job would be that you've got to sign a thing declaring your loyalty to a person, the president, whomever that is. In this case, in 2025, it will be Donald Trump. That I would have to pledge my support to him in order to
have your job,
have my job.
Exactly. People don't realize that the director of the VA, if he doesn't sign his loyalty to Donald Trump at this time, that's who's running under this Project 2025, then he wouldn't have a job.
That's right.
He wouldn't. So we're talking a dictatorship.
Total dictatorship.
And so that, for people that don't realize, and you have a civil service job, you're going to have to swear. First off, we're not supposed to swear, period.
But you got to do.
But you have got to swear.
And that's why
loyalty to the president.
And that's why I was saying that, and I call it to people's attention, and I call it, for my fun, people that came from across the pond to these United States to make it what it is. That was one of the things that they fought.
Right.
That was one of the things that they fought, was the fact that, religious, that they wanted religious freedom and political freedom.
They didn't want to swear their loyalty to the
and one was not going to swear their loyalty to anybody but God. And so they weren't able to get it done there, so they left and came here and established the United States of America.
And that's just one thing in government.
That's just one thing.
They want to cut federal funding for transit agencies nationwide, so trains and the transportation. We already need more funding for those entities, but now they want to cut all of that. Make Christian nationalism a core value of domestic policy.
And then, Pam, let's back up just a minute to that transit. With the transit right now, we have disabled people in all of these facilities that we use, the way that we fund the transit system to get them to the doctor's office, to their social workers, and to all of that will be cut out. All of that will be cut out.
Oh yeah. People don't realize, when you're looking at this Project 2025, and we're just touching a little bit on it, it affects everyone. You have to really look at it and say, well, where does that hit home with me? Why does transit funding, how does that affect me? Do you have a child that catches a bus home when school is out? That will affect that child.
And let me say this before we go further. But for those of you when you hear us talk about the book, the 922 pages, let me share with you, as Pam told you, it has been broken down for you in Project 2025 Mandate for Leadership and the Conservative Promise into a sheet on 2 sides with 6. Yeah, with 1, 2, 3, 6, with 8 bullet points, 8 topics for you, so you can read 2 sides of this page and get the basic information that you're going to need. And
Yeah.
then if you want to delve deeper into it,
Right.
you can do that. But don't think that you have to go read those whole 822 pages.
And we're trying to get this sheet out everywhere we can. There are 3 lawyers from California went through those 900 pages and condensed this down so that we would have a better understanding of what this project means, or where it would be bullet pointed.
And what you have time to study.
Right, we can study it and say, oh, that affects me, so how does it affect me? And so, 900 pages, you get the and, these, and those, and there is, and all of that. And so they just took all of that out.
Whereas is and all
right,
that.
and put it and simplified it for us to be able to, not just for us, but for those individuals that get this, to be able to say, how does that affect me? And so that's what we're doing, is we're bullet pointing those areas. Another thing, do away with separation of church and state. How many churches will be affected? In other words, they will come in and tell you how your church is to be run. State says your church can't do this, and state says your church can't do that. We already know that it's hard to get federal funding with some of the things that we do in church, because we knew of a church that got involved with federal funding and got in trouble because of lack of accountability for pencils.
Yes.
You have to account for every bit of funding.
And the thing about it is that they're going to tell you what is religiously acceptable
and what's not
in those particular churches.
Right.
And that you will be obligated to go by those according to this principle, these principles here.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that's very important. Make the director, listen to this, make the director of the FBI personally, big word, personally accountable. Personally accountable to the president. To the president.
Yes.
That means one person that the director of the FBI has to personally talk to. So
he can't do anything that the president, because the president is his boss.
Only the president.
Only the president. Only the president. Right now, the FBI is an independent agent, an independent, nonpartisan agent. That would not be the case.
Exactly.
If you had a Republican president, he would be responsible to the Republican president.
Exactly.
If you had a Democratic, it would be the same thing. And so that would mean that this two-party system that we have would mean nothing.
Would mean nothing. That goes into the next one. Place the federal government's entire executive branch under direct presidential control. Once again, we're leaning toward the king. Dictatorship.
And
one person.
That's
Democrat or Republican.
That's right. That's what some people are looking for. Total dictator. And like one of the candidates running for office right now is saying that we'll be a dictatorship just for one day, meaning I'll change everything.
Just one day.
But that's what he means, is that I'll
change
everything.
But as a dictator, he can change everything one day and then decide as a dictator, I'm not done.
I'm not done.
I'm going to stay being a dictator. And so,
that's what he's saying. If to be a dictator for one day, you can say that from now on, the dictator will be free to change whatever he so sees fit. And stay in office as long as he pleases.
And we know, even though that's not being said, that's the plan. When it pertains to, and I'm going to call his name, Donald Trump, because that's who's running with this Project 2025, because he himself, out of his own mouth, made the statement, all I'm asking you to do is vote this one time and you will never have to vote again.
The reason why I'm saying this is an election is coming up, and people need to know what is so important to them, what is something that you can really zero in on, and ban books on Black history and slavery.
And that's under another segment of race, gender, and ethnicity.
But I just wanted to throw that out there. We're not going to deal a long time on that today. We'll deal with that in the next segment. But I felt like with the election coming up, and some people saying they don't know where they need to go.
Right.
They need to know these kinds of things.
Oh yeah.
So that they will know how to vote.
And that is important, and we are gonna talk about. I mean, we do need to get in depth with that, with the government thing, and then I'm gonna end that.
That's okay.
With the but I'm so adamant that people understand how their civil rights are going to be affected when it comes to even their jobs, because, and I'm going to just kind of quickly throw this out there, eliminate the Department of Justice, eliminate the FBI, eliminate FCC, eliminate the FTC and other agencies, just do away with it. Then replace all the Department of State employees. This is where it affects you personally. Replace all Department of State employees in leadership roles. They too have to be loyal to the president. That's on the state level.
That's it, period.
On a state level, all state employees in leadership roles.
FBI,
defund them
and Homeland Security.
Yep, and reclassify tens of thousands of civil service employees and make them political appointees. In other words, you will not be able to go to your job and just apply for a job at the VA unless you are a political appointee, unless you are appointed by either the president or whoever he designates for you to be responsible to. It will no longer be that this is my boss here. You will be loyal, and then, as we said, eliminate all those. So that is just a little bit under government. We just wanted you to know that this is affecting you personally.
Absolutely.
This is affecting, you're a state employee, a federal employee. You need to look at Project 2025 and find out who you have to be loyal to. And then back to the banning of the books. Now that is another segment, and like we said, they broke it down into different segments under race and gender and ethnicity. But banning of books.
Yeah.
You know,
that's something that we would hear about in the movies.
Yes.
And think, oh my goodness.
Yes.
You know, the very thought of that.
Why do you think that is such an important issue? To ban books.
The ban, well, what and Black history. So they don't want anybody to know anything about because one of the things that they would teach right now is that Black folks were happy when they were slaves. They were happy. They were happy slave people, you know, and they weren't treated so bad, and because they didn't, and they don't tell about the fact how many runaway slaves they had. They don't talk about the disturbance that they had on the plantations. They don't want folks to know about that, because what they want to say is that we can slip back into that. It wasn't so bad. They didn't, you know.
Well, that's one gentleman, I shouldn't even call him a gentleman.
No.
Can't think of his name. Down in Florida, had the nerve to say that we did better.
Yes.
Because we were slaves, that we learned trades.
Right.
And that this made us a better people because we were slaves. Didn't tell about the fact that if that we had to work from sun up to sundown, and if we got tired and needed water, we didn't get it. If we didn't get it done, we got beat. Didn't tell about the fact that some people got tired of being misused and tried to run and would lose a foot.
Yes.
Didn't tell all of that because of the ugliness that went on. But we were happy people. We were happy to lose a foot or a finger or a tongue or whatever, because we were not talking right, or we were trying to run and not doing the work that was required of us free.
And let me just say this to our audience out there. We are not teaching hate here on this show at all. We have some very supportive people, and we've black and white, and we've always had supportive people. Had it not been for some of the supportive people we had, I don't know how we would have come through slavery.
Exactly. But, Underground Railroad. Exactly.
All we are doing is
being honest,
just telling you the truth.
Telling you the truth. History.
What the truth of the matter is.
And that is what I remember when Obama got into office. There was a white person we knew, we were friends with, and they were just petrified. And it was like, well, what are you scared of having a black president? And they said, well, y'all not going to do us
the way we
did.
Hattie said to me,
and it was like, that's not what this is about.
No.
This is not about revenge. This is about freedom and allowing us to just be people and human. Just like there is no reason why in 2024 that we have a Voting Rights Act.
Oh, there's
none at all. The simple fact that I was born in this country should give me all of the rights
that you need,
that I need to vote without there having to be a Voting Rights Act. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting to say that we are people and human just like everyone else, and to treat us accordingly, and we'll treat you accordingly.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is all about.
And we don't believe in slavery for anybody.
For anyone.
I had a person when I was at the VA, and I was chairperson of the EEOC committee at the time, and the person was saying to me that when we were looking at some statistical data on the fact that black folks were increasing in population and numbers and that sort of thing, and that by certain time, right now, was talking about how many more African American folks that we would have, etc. And you know how the population change was coming, and they said, well, are you all going to treat us the way we treated you all?
It was a big concern.
When we were, and I go, absolutely not.
Absolutely,
that's not on our plate. That's not on our agenda. I think is when we talk about a fair and equitable rights. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about for everybody, and it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, because we know that we have some good white folks, and we have some good black folks, and we have some bad white folks, and we have some bad African American folks.
Right.
So we know that, and so what we're trying to do is trying to change this society so that we can all live in this beautiful world that God gave us to live in.
Look at you and judge you by who you are and not how you look.
Absolutely.
And so that's where we are. We're just trying to say that we want an equal as possible playing field. And some people still don't want this. Some people are still mad that they lost the Civil War. They're stuck in that we lost the Civil War. And
we're coming back.
And we're coming back. The South will rise again.
Yes.
And so that's what we're battling. We're not battling a black and white issue simply because you're white. I don't like you. And you're looking at me simply because you're black. I don't like you. And you don't know me, and I don't know you. Get to know me. We might have more in common than what you think. And that's what we're talking about, is that we're saying, let's be fair. And so to ban Black history is to say that you're saying that what happened to us does not matter. It does matter. They're saying, well, you know, we don't want our kids to think bad of us or think ill of us, but we don't want our kids to think that we're not worthy to know our past.
Absolutely. And
we've come a long way.
That we're in the situation we're in, not because of something that we did.
Right.
You know, it was the fact that we were brought over the way that we were brought over.
Exactly.
And handled the way that we were handled. And we are saying, and I want the white kids to know what happened. That does not mean that they're not even their mother and father, but that their ancestors, you know, how they did. And some of them thought it was right then. Some of them thought it was right then, but
some thought it was wrong.
Some thought it was
but
right.
But they were outnumbered and didn't know what to do.
And were scared, just like right now. Just like the people are scared right now.
Exactly.
To vote what they really know they should vote for.
Exactly.
Because anybody with common sense that can look at the two candidates, nobody would have to make any common sense decision about who to vote for.
Exactly.
In November. And it just floors me sometimes to look at these people to say, this person cares nothing about you. Don't you hear him? You know, like the veterans,
with the weather.
Like the veterans, anybody that have no respect for veterans people and call them losers, etc. For fighting for my freedom.
Losers, right.
Fighting for my freedom. You're a loser because you lost your life fighting for me.
Exactly.
You know, that's just like I would say if my husband or my father was supporting me with somebody trying to to harm the family and they got killed, for somebody to turn around and say, you're a loser. You got killed.
You think about it, who would you want even to come over to your house for dinner? Would I want Donald Trump to come sit at my table talking about losers and suckers and downplaying people and just calling people out of their name, being disrespectful, not being honest about anything? Mm-hmm. Or would I want somebody that's sitting at my table that has a nice smile, that is saying, I care about you, that's saying, look, let's see what your situation is. What is it that I can do for you to lift you up and not tear you down? Who do you want sitting at your table? That, to me, is where the common sense comes in. Who do I want to not just sit at my table, but to lead the country into that same kind of mindset? I want to lift you up and help you to get ahead and not just tear you down. That's what we're looking at when we start talking about the differences between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. It just so happens that it's a black woman named Kamala that is running for that. Or if it's a Donald Trump that is running for that. So we are just saying that we're looking at this. There is so much more that we can get into, but we're not going to have time to do that today.
We're not going to have time to do that today, and I wanted to call attention before we go so that you can put it on your calendar, is that on November 5th, we're going to be at Second Baptist Church all day long. We're going to be going out into the streets.
That's in Columbia,
Missouri, to take people to personally hit these streets to encourage people to go vote, to see if they vote. We'll be going door to door. And then at 4 o'clock, we're going to end up asking everybody that will, we're going to do like a watch party. And so come by Second Baptist. We're going to have food for everybody all evening long. We're not going to have sit down dinner. We're going to have food there. We're going to have chili. We're going to have all kinds of dessert.
And when we do this, we have black and white people that come. And one of the things,
even the candidates come by.
And one of the things that I know, Missouri is a red state, but in the middle of that red state
is a blue spot.
There's a blue spot, and that blue spot is Columbia, Missouri. And one of the reasons why Columbia is a blue spot, we're not afraid of those black books. We're not afraid to intermingle together. We work together and we try to uplift everyone. And it is one of the top places that people are trying to move to because we are so diverse. We are so fair. And that's because we work together in this community. I am proud of this community, and this community is an example of what this country could be like if they work together to do what we have done here in this little bitty blue segment in Missouri.
Absolutely. I am too, Pamela. I am, we work close together.
Yes, we do.
And we help each other. And so not that we're not a perfect community. There are no perfect communities.
Exactly.
And we have to continue to work with the authorities to make sure that we keep it.
Right.
And we're not safe.
Exactly. We're not always in agreement with each other, but one of the things we do is we reach across the aisle.
Yes.
And so that's what makes us get where we are. And so I am proud of what we do here
in Columbia,
and stuff. So, but we do have to round it up. We don't want to hold you too long because we want you to come back. We want you to please like us, please subscribe, and then if you have any questions, please submit those. And at the end of this broadcast, there will be a place for you to do all that. But we want to thank you all for coming to join us again, and for all of the ones that have already supported us, we want to thank you. Now, we have now come to the part of our program where we are hoping that you send in some questions, and we have some information that we want to distribute to you. If you are interested in getting, we talked to you about this sheet, this 2-page sheet of Project 2025, that 903-page material that has been condensed. If you are interested in receiving this, if you would just please look at the end of our video today or go into the description and you will find an email address. Please leave your email and we will send you a copy of this condensed Project 2025 Once again, look at the end of our video or in the description, and we will send you this information. And then if you have any questions, please submit those to that same email address, and we will respond to you at our next showing. So thank you once again for joining us. Please like and subscribe. And we want you to know that the truth of the matter is we'll try to make sure that we fact check everything that we say, and we will get that out to you. And if you want to contact us, you can reach us at truthofthematter.is1@gmail.com. Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And the truth of the matter is.